Dominican people, those of you who are Dominicans but you are living in Dominica, pleasant, special good evening to you. Those of you Dominicans as well but living somewhere out there, be it in our region or further afield as it were, especially those of you in Canada this time. I saw somebody popped up there a while ago, and on the US mainland and or even further afield. Yeah, always a pleasure to be in your company each and every Saturday from just about that time, 6 o'clock. Ladies and gents, as they say in school as well, boys and girls, young people, today being the 18th of May 2024, and that is where we again want to make a run for it as it pertains to information about our country, Dominica, and what can we do to help in developing our country. All right, so that is one aspect of what we do here each and every Saturday. It is to help in bringing that country of ours to a much better place, as it were. Yes, so all of you there, pleasant good evening. Again, it's a pleasure to have you on board. In the interest of time tonight, I will not be here. Let me just say straight off the bat, I will not be here for 2 hours tonight. I'll be here for 1 hour. A matter of fact, my day's work is not done as yet, but being committed to you guys, being committed to the work, I said I cannot postpone tonight, so let me just come and deliver at least the more pressing messages here. Let me just come and deliver about an hour and get back to my normal routine. All right, so again, tonight is just 1 hour indeed. So let us see how fast we can go through the messages here, and so we will all be happy at the end of it. All right, Dominicans, just before we start, and strangers alike as well, let me as well greet fans, friends, and yes, fools as well, yeah, because you too keep the program what it is. Dominicans, before we start, as they used to do in Sunday school lesson before, I used to be once upon a time a Sunday school teacher, yes? And there's an aspect of Sunday school vibes or Sunday school teaching that we used to call object lesson. And it was one where we would bring something, we as the teachers would bring something tangible, something that the children could see, touch, feel, or even smell, and apply the day's lesson of what the object that we brought. All right, so I just reminiscing now on some of the days gone by, and I brought something here this evening, and I just want to show it to you guys. Those of you who are not so old, not so up in age, you might be out of the loop, as it were. Those of you who are my age and older, for sure, you will be able to identify very, very good. And for the much younger ones, the 25 and under, this thing may be looking very, very strange to you. Yeah? But folks, yes, I have this in my hand. I was just going through my quote-unquote junk today, and I found this. Yes? I know, as I said, most of you up in age would know exactly what that is. It's a cassette. That is how we used to do music before, as it were. All right? We used to record all our lovely songs, oldie goldies, reggae of the day, whatever it is, on an object like this. Yeah, this one is TD60. It had the TD90. I remember it had the TD, I think TD60 is TD90 and TD120 or something, but that is a TDK version. All right, we used to do all the recordings on there. That little bottom piece here, we used to, well, if it was broken, then we start to stuff paper or whatever in there so that we could erase and record over, you know. So these are some of the good old days, you know, the good old days, I can tell you that. And that is just, this is not too old, eh? We can go back to the records and whatever before. I think I have a record. Well, I have records, as a matter of fact. here. So maybe sometime next week I might bring a record for those of you who are of the younger generation who did not know or know nothing about these things in terms of how we used to entertain ourselves before. Then, you know, the program that we do here each and every Saturday, it is to bring back, as it was sometime, the good old days. All right. Malius was saying, and lofty, not long I'm saying to myself, no cassette again. Yeah. Kerry Lockhart Savage is saying here, we stuff paper in the bottom. Yes, memories, my brother. Yes, indeed. Kerry, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We used to stuff paper. If the clip there was broken, normally when this came brand new and somebody did an original recording on this, they would break up the clip. But then, so that persons would not record over what was placed on that cassette. But we found a way, stuff it with paper, silver paper, whatever it is. And then voila, you could re-record over what was recorded on there. All right, so I just thought, you know, I'd bring that up just to bring us back to some nostalgic days, as it were. Yeah. But yes, Dominicans, we have to move on. And so these days we know young people, they are in the mini disc thing. They have flash drives. They have the iPhone, the iPad, their computer. That is where they store their information on in terms of music and other things. Some persons even choose to store it in the cloud. We did not know what was that before at all. All right, we did not have those niceties that our young people have today. But it's a blend, and as my brother always say, everything bless. Yes, indeed. Okay, Dominicans, enough of the good old days. Let us get down to business now, as it were. It is already what, 10 minutes past 6 o'clock. First off on the list, this item, yes, someone is talking about floppy disk. Yes, I remember the floppy disk as well. Yeah, first up on the list for the program here this evening, we have some condolences message that we want to just send across to different families who are grieving at this time. And so first off the bat, we heard of Brother Colbert Vidal passing. A patriotic brother, son of the soil, Salisbury and environs, all those persons who are in one way, shape or form, grieving now at this moment as a result of Mr. Colbert Vidal passing, his wife, his children, immediate and extended family. I here, and we here by extension, would like to wish you guys our condolence messages. And as I always say, in this time, you really have to look up, because it is when you look up you can find your true strength. Because those of us who have not gone through that road before, we really don't know what it is to lose a loved one, and the headache, heartache, the grieving that goes with that. Yeah. So, Brother Colbert Vidal, you should be in a better place now, and so it is with that in mind that your family and loved ones should rest assured and try to gather the strength and encouragement that they need in their time of bereavement. All right, Colbert, I can tell you, I basically can call this guy a statesman out of Dominica. He was a statesman indeed. Anything that this guy did, he did it to the best of his ability. I did not know him in his former years, as it were, but the little that I knew of him, just going around Salisbury, getting to know him, having conversations with him now and then, whenever we met, I can tell you the things that he expressed with no shadow of a doubt. I can say he was indeed a statesman indeed. He always wanted what is good or what was best for his country. And so we can now find some strength in knowing that the work is not done. At least he played his part, and it is our time now to continue where Brother Colbert Vidal left us. All right. Those of you knew him of late, always outside of Dominica area. I used to see him outside of Auto Trade in that area there with his big long truck. He and his wife selling their produce. And so, you know, all over the country, he was touching lives. He was bringing food, quality food that is, so that we would not go hungry. And so he's gone now, but I know those of us who are at the back will have to step up in that department. Okay. So yes, Colbert Vidal and the entire clan of Salisbury and environ, we empathize and sympathize with you at this time. Yeah? We also heard the passing of Brother Reggie Book. For those of you who may not have known Reggie Book, again, Reggie Book, in my estimation, just dealing with this brother for some time, Reggie Book was my go-to guy whenever I needed my vehicle inspected, an evaluation done, or whatever it is, a mechanical report, whatever it is to do with vehicle. I always could count on Brother Reggie Book to get it done in a very, very expedite manner. And so I will miss him for that, among other things that other persons will miss him for. Yeah? For sure, he was indeed a good brother, a good soul. The last I spoke with Brother Brooke was, I believe, 3 Saturdays gone. Not last Saturday, Saturday before that. I met Reggie Burke and his wife at a supermarket, and I was directly after him in the line waiting to cash. And so when he cashed his stuff and he was just about ready to go, I hailed him up, called him, and we had a little chit chat for about 2 minutes thereabout. And so that was the last I can say in terms of talking with Brother Reggie Book. But now to his family, his wife, his friends, his loved ones, all those who miss him, who dearly miss him, my sympathy, and by extension, those of us who want the life, our sympathies to the Burke family at this time. A matter of fact, Carla Guy, what you're saying, I lost my uncle today. Well, Carla, condolences to you as well on the passing of your uncle, as you just said here. May he rest in peace. I was on a point there before I took Carla's uncle. Yes, okay, yes. Reggie's situation. A matter of fact, let me big up in a very, very big way a team of folks. They came to Dominica. They were there last week. I think they call their name the VOSH, VOSH. That is some people from America who deal with, some volunteers who deal with eyesight, basically helping persons with the eyesight. Yes? And so Brother Reggie Book now, that is the connection I want to make. Reggie Book was a very, very instrumental figure in terms of these people being here in terms of accommodation. A matter of fact, at St. Joseph, I saw a photo of Reggie Book on a table where that situation was happening. On Wednesday, it was of this week. Because on that table at St. Joseph, the people who were there said to me, Lofty, that is where Mr. Book seat would be. That is where he would be sitting if he was with us, exactly on that table. And so that shows us the level of importance that he had in terms of that team coming here and he working with that team to help out Dominicans by and large. Yes? And so again, we want to wish Reggie Book family very well as they continue to mourn the loss of a husband, a father, an uncle, granddad, whatever it is, whatever he was to his family, his friends and loved ones. We sympathize with you as well. Before I go though, before I move to the other person that is on the death announcement list, as it were, let me just say straight off the bat here that our healthcare system, we have been lamenting the fact that it is not up to scratch. It has not been up to scratch for some time. We remember the good old days, people, when that healthcare system that I'm talking about, it was second to none. A matter of fact, it was reported back then that in terms of primary health care, Dominica was, if not the best in the region. But we have deviated, we have moved away, we have regressed so far from where we were in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s to where we are in 2024. And so it is not good at all. And I'm telling that to you because a number of deaths that occur at that facility, if these people, and I am saying based on the evidence that I saw and what I know, if these people were anywhere else, then most likely they would still be here with us today. So some people, they are very scared of going to our primary healthcare facility, which to me is still known as the PMH, the Princess Margaret Hospital. We used to have very, very good care being done there, but of late, things are not up to scratch. And we can just continue to lament the fact that, well, this regime for sure cannot fix it anymore. After 25 years of scrutiny, after 25 years of seeing what these people can do, or what they have done, then I can say clearly well that they cannot fix the health problem and many other problems that show up its ugly head or their ugly head in Dominica. And so it's a matter of just waiting them out before they are booted out. And so we as a people should try to fix our country. I cannot say it better than that. Because calling on this regime to help fix the health problem, it is like me just talking crap in your ears this afternoon. Yeah? And I'm not that person to talk crap. So we just have to sort of stay the course. We are going through, I am saying now, a political hurricane with the Dominica Labour Party at the helm. And so you know when we are going through a hurricane, a literal hurricane, then it is a matter of you have to buckle down and wait till that eye pass over and the tail end pass, which causes the most havoc. And I can tell you the tail is now upon us. And so it is a waiting period now, but not just waiting coupled with action. So whatever we have to do to get rid of that regime, I'm not putting water in my mouth, people. They can do no more. A number of people who are dying at the PMH with any other healthcare managers there, I am saying, based on what I am seeing, what I'm noticing, what I know for a fact, there would be a greater percentage in terms of they coming out alive. It gets so bad that this week gone, I am being told from very reliable sources at the hospital that one lady went to do some scan at the hospital. She did the scan, and at the end of the day, she could not get the results of that scan because that machine in question, that machine had no ink. Yes, you heard me right. That machine had no ink, so that whatever the result could not be printed so that she and her doctor could see. I'm being told from the very same reliable sources that lady was in so much of a desperate situation. She had to go and buy the ink, $600 plus, so that she could get the results printed. That is how we come. But we're hearing and seeing other things happening in the country. And basic things like these, they are not taken care of adequately. I'm not even talking about medication now. Whenever your doctor prescribes medication for people at the hospital, their family members have to come get that prescription, go get the prescription, get the medication, bring it back to the hospital so that these people could get whatever medication that their doctor or physician prescribed. That is how it is. So we have a building, a nicely painted building, but as to the health care that's supposed to go alongside with that, it is far, Far from that. And that's our reality. You may not believe it. I pray to God Almighty that you that is in denial at this time, you or your close one, never have to reach in that facility to experience for yourself firsthand what I'm talking about. Let's continue. We also heard as well the passing of Brother Peter Thomas. That is a brother who used to be on Kyrie FM, have this program called Constructive Talk or whatever talk, better known as Sugu Fly. He passed. An ardent supporter of the Dominica Labour Party, it was known. He didn't hold back no secrets in that department, and so Sugu Fly has left us. He's gone. I'm being told again, he was at the PMH struggling for some time with his ailment, and again without the proper health care. Then he passed. So Sugu fly on, my brother, you and your family, your loved ones at this time. Again, may you find comfort in the departing of Sugu Fly. Yeah? That's our reality. Every week, we have to find ourselves in Dominica dealing with a number of deaths, and these deaths, I am saying based on what the information that I have, anywhere else could be prevented. And some of us sit comfortably by. We sit comfortable. We sit comfortable, knowing fully well what is going on around us. Because folks, if we are not healthy, if we cannot be healthy, and as a result of our poor healthcare system, then you know what it is for the country. Because without health, there's nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. You can have all the monies in the world, you can have all the cars, whatever it is, but without proper health, they amount to nothing. And so the true measure, in my mind, the true barometer of a country's development is how they deal, one, with their poor and indigent people, and coupled with that, the health care that is meted out to its citizens whenever the need arises. These are my two benchmarks. And so in these two areas, Dominica as a country has failed miserably. And it all amounts to, by large measure, the type of governance that we have had for the past 25 years. Who to fix that? It is we to fix that, Dominicans. Nobody else. We need not call on no ultimate savior. We have to get up. We have to decide to fix this problem once and for all. Or these problems, rather, once and for all. Yeah? So all those of you who are suffering one way or the other now, those of you who are sick, get well. Those who are suffering because of, or grieving because of your loved one passed, get well as well, pretty soon. For those of you joining here this evening, as I said before, I'll be with you guys for 1 hour tonight. It's already 6:30, so we really and truly have to move with lightning speed here as able to cover some grounds. So let us dive right into it now. The next item on the agenda, people, is that I saw some photos circulating, and I read a communique earlier this week. Let me see if I can just pull up that communique for those of you who have not heard or read it. The DLP, part of the DLP regime, and those who are closely connected with it, they are in the USVI today, part of the USVI today, St. Thomas to be precise, I'm being told. The communique that preceded they being there on the soil this afternoon is, and it reads, attention, St. Thomas, labor rights and friends. PM Skerrit to make a courtesy call to St. Thomas this coming weekend, which the weekend is upon us now. It starts by saying the Dominica Labour Party political leader, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, will meet with labor rights in St. Thomas this coming Sunday, May 19, 2024, at Victor's Hideout from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The purpose of this meeting is to deliver a thank you message to labor rights and friends for their ironclad support rendered to the Dominica Labour Party over the decades. Please dress appropriately and be on time. Food and beverages will be served, and entertainment will be provided by DJ Philipson. The meeting will be chaired by yours truly, Paul Alexander. Security will be tight. Unwelcome guests will be dealt with appropriately. Call some numbers, whatever these numbers are at this time. Folks, that's the communique we saw coming through earlier this week. Like many people, what I want to know, what I really want to know, and I guess without a Freedom of Information Act in Dominica, that is like looking now, pulling teeth now, as it were. But I would really want to know that trip, that communique says here, the Dominica Labour Party. I would want to know for a fact that trip in terms of the monies. Is it the Dominica Labour Party as an organization, as a party, that is paying for that trip? Or the Treasury, which basically means we the people of Dominica paying for that trip? Because nowhere there speaks about government or government business. It speaks clearly to the Dominica Labour Party doing business in St. Thomas with its supporters. And in response, it says here, wants to deliver a thank you message to labor rights and friends for their ironclad support over the decades. And I am saying, people, it cannot be that we just continue to sit in Dominica and not know certain things. The Dominica Labour Party, not the government, the Dominica Labour Party should come out and make it very clear to the Dominica people as to where these monies came from to pay for that trip, to pay for this entertainment, to pay for everything and anything that is going down in St. Thomas tomorrow. And unless and until they can do that, my suspicion will tell me that they may be using the state's money to accommodate party business, and that cannot be right. Anyhow you look at it, that cannot be right. And so we need now some explanation with some evidence, because we know the Dominica Labour Party as a party. They are not in no, we know that. They have not been seen in no bona fide fundraising drive to keep their party afloat. A matter of fact, what we have been seeing, if you guys jog back your memory after Hurricane Maria, just one example in the interest of time, the Dominica Labour Party as an organization took upon themselves, wherever they got that money from, to buy a building on King George V Street in Roseau, just below Astafans, next to the Dominica Planned Parenthood building, in that zone. That building, I'm being told, anywhere more than $500,000. That was the price tag. But mysteriously, the Dominica Labour Party got money, got that kind of money to say that they have now in their possession as a party that house. They bought that house, $500,000 and counting. And so it leaves us to ask the necessary questions. Where is the Dominica Labour Party. That party, that organization, that political organization. Some may say the scary party, but for this conversation, let's say the Dominica Labour Party, because that is what is running on the building. Where did they get that money at least to purchase that building? Up till now, no one knows. But the point that I really want to tie in here now, it goes further and deeper than just the money they got to purchase that building. In that when I am suggesting or saying the expense paid to the USVI today in terms of accommodation of that trip for the DLP cronies, we well remember, well, I well remember, Clarence, the bank provide loans. Yes, we know that. But you need to get your Prime Minister to come and bring the loan statement, the loan documents, so that we can see as proof that the Labour Party as an organization took a loan and purchased whatever buildings they have in town now and multiplying it. Because you always quick to jump into or on the defense of Labour Party as if you are a candidate, as if you are a minister. We know you are a supporter. But you cannot just come and just throw things in the air. Tell them, bring the loan documents, the year it was accrued, interest, everything, whatever it is. And let us be upfront to the Dominican people. That is what we want to hear. That's what we want to know. Not that foolishness to come in and talk about, oh, the Bangib loans. The Bangib loans, yes, but you guys are in public office, public life. And that is where it matters to the Dominican people for transparency, my brother. So don't come and just tell me about bank take loan. No, 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 no. We know Bangib loans, but bring the evidence. Let's get back on track. That house I'm talking about on King George V Street, I well remember after Hurricane Maria, a number of different organizations across the world gave to Dominica, among other things, building materials. Yes, they gave to us, among other things, cash, clothes, water, food, building materials as well. And Clarence Christian, I am putting it to you now in a very direct way. Some of the building materials that are on that building, they came directly from the gifts that were donated to the Dominican public in terms of help to get us back on track as a people. All the rabbit and spring boards you see on that building, and the Cubans who came to Dominica to help restore Dominica, that was the word that was going out. Some of these people, the Cubans, they came to help us. And in the process, they found themselves helping the Dominica Labour Party as well. I saw them working on that building, the Cubans. I asked questions as to where these building materials, the boards in particular, that is properly painted now in red and yellow, where they came from. And the people said where they came from. The people said where they came from. And you know where they came from? They came from some of the containers that were sent to Dominica by different organizations with lumber to help us in Dominica rebuild better. And the Dominica Labour Party found it fit to use some of these lumber on that house on King George V Street. And I'm telling you that from a position of fact. If you want the container number as well, I can give you the container number as well. That these lumber, these treated pitch pine boards came from. Rabbit and spring in nature, the design. How they clad on one another. And so when I'm speaking, I don't speak out of turn. I don't speak without the facts. And so if we're talking about transparency, we have a lot of things to unearth where that Dominica Labour Party is concerned. And any other government that puts foot in Dominica, and you guys tell me, or the Dominican public, you are not going to investigate that party for their deeds when they were there, I'll be the first one to chant you down, for sure. So next time you guys pass in Roseau, King George V Street, watch to your right if you're going up, watch to your left if you're going down. Well, if you're going east or west, and you will see what I'm talking about. The treated pitch pine boards, they are nicely and neatly painted now. So you may even think it's wall that is there. But yes, the upper bit were boards, lumber that was donated, given to the people of Dominica to help us rebuild. And some of these materials, I am telling you, found their way on that building. At least I can attest to that one. And so that is why I'm saying now, that trip in St. Thomas, the Labour Party now must come clean and tell the Dominican people where they got that money from, how much money was paid, how much money is there to go on that trip to do Labour Party business. That's all. So when you guys come out and make merry over there, eat and drink and do whatever it is to continue to fool the people with political garbage, come back to the people and come clean, as J. Prince is saying here now, with the people of Dominica. Come clean. Until and unless that time can happen, then we the Dominican people will not rest. And you guys need to be on notice. You guys need to be put on notice. Your sins, trust me, your deeds, trust me, will be investigated. It cannot be that you guys are doing so much in terms of atrocities against a people and would want to just go and just live your life after your political or I am saying now, sycophant careers. No. The people must continue to pursue you guys. And the people must. We have to move on, Dominicans. 15 more minutes left. As I reported, or as I told you guys last week, a matter came on the table for discussion whereby two Dominicans, two quote-unquote Dominicans of high repute, closely connected to the cabal. There was this allegation that they were deported from the United Kingdom. And I promised you guys that I would do some digging to bring some clarity to the best of my ability to that situation. What I can report to you guys, based on the information that has reached me during the course of last week, in terms of my reaching out to some colleagues in the United Kingdom and also an organization that would be in the know as to whether that allegation was true or not. I can report to you guys, based on my findings from these people, that allegation, it was just an allegation. All right? What I can say to you, these people, they knew nothing about 2 Dominicans being deported. So we just have to leave that there as an allegation. Obviously, where there's smoke, there's fire. So maybe something happened there. But as to that deportment or being deported, my investigation did not lead me down that road. So I have to be true to what I got in terms of reporting. But that doesn't mean that the shenanigans is not continuing with our passports out there. All right? What I can tell you as well is that any other inquiry that would be sought in terms of that deportment case, or that deportation case rather, the lawyers of these 2 people would have to request that information, and if needs be, more information would be given to the lawyer or lawyers acting on behalf of these 2 people mentioned. All right? But based on my digging into that matter with people who would be in the know as to whether that situation occurred, so far I cannot tell you that Clarence, we don't have time tonight, so I'm not going to respond to you anymore. Okay, we don't have much time tonight, so please feel free to stay there and listen, but I'll not engage you further. Thank you very much. The lawyers would have to write and inquire for much more, but that is as far as these people would release. Yeah. What I'm being told in terms of just trying to clarify what went on there, because something went on there. If anything is worth bringing to you guys' attention, I will bring that to your attention. All right. But for now, let us just leave that situation as an allegation. Yeah. Good. Now, folks, I'm going to read to you 2 letters. Yeah, 2 letters. And you saw how we went back in time. You saw how we went back in time. For those of you who are tuning in now, that cassette was showed to the audience earlier. Just, going back in time a little bit. I'm going to read to you 2 letters. Well, 1 letter story and a poem. Let me just make and pull that up. And I want to say thank you to the person who punched these 2 pieces of archives my way. Very, very instrumental. And then we're going to just end with that and wrap up the conversation pretty soon. Guess and tell me, well, no, let me not say guess because his name is there already. That paper article, that newspaper article to be precise, it says Savre very happy. And folks, you can see on the screen now a picture of Charles Savre back in the day. A very, very wide smile. And I will be reading to you that article, why the article said he was happy then. And we're just going to compare and contrast something, at least one thing that is happening now, and Charles Savre should also not be very, very happy, because what he mentioned, he was not happy about it back then. Okay, he was happy about certain things, but he was not so happy about at least one thing. And that one thing is happening even more so today. And so, yes, Clarence Christian, listen to hear what Charles Savre said back then. And if you, well, I know you cannot be true to your conscience. See if what Charles Savre was lamenting over, if it is not worth lamenting over even more today. It starts by saying, Savre, very happy. And that, folks, in terms of, let me just qualify that what you're seeing here. That is a paper, the writings there soon after the 1980 general elections. We all know our history in terms of what happened after 1980, where the Freedom Party was victorious at the polls, and the Dominica Labour Party then was no more. Okay? So just to contextualize. It says here, Charles Savre, the General Secretary of the Island Civil Service Association, as the CSA, and the Freedom Party candidate who lost to Michael Douglas for the Portsmouth constituency, is a happy man. Charles Savre told thousands at a political rally at La Plaine last week that he is a happy man, notwithstanding his defeat at the polls. Savre said, and I quote, on the night of the 21st of July, 1980, I, Charles Savre, was the happiest man in Dominica when I joined the Freedom Party and when I agreed to contest the elections in Portsmouth for the Freedom Party. I have had one objective in mind, and that objective was to ensure that the Dominica Freedom Party became the government of Dominica. It continues by saying the party was totally successful, and therefore, as far as I am concerned, the results of the 1980 elections are overwhelmingly successful by any standards, and the fact that I have lost is not important at all. We entered the election campaigning knowing fully well that this country of Dominica had been under the clutches of the Dominica Labour Party for 20 years. Folks, let me take that line again. Charles Savre said then, we went into the election campaign knowing fully well that this country of Dominica had been under the clutches of the Dominica Labour Party for 20 years, knowing fully well that 20 years of mépris and criticism and slander had created in the minds of some people certain impressions about the Freedom Party and about candidates and leaders in the party. The final paragraph, which is where I really want to zero in on, he said, we knew fully well that the treasury was being used for political campaigning. But brothers and sisters, we had worked for 12 years to become the government of this country. Let me just take Charles Savre's last and final quotation. He said, we knew fully well that the treasury was being used for political campaigning. But brothers and sisters, we had worked for 12 years to become the government of this country. And that is where now, people, I want to make the connection. So when I started earlier by asking that all-important question about just where the Dominica Labour Party is getting its money to buy buildings around Roseau and around the country, where is the Dominica Labour Party as an organization getting money to go to St. Thomas to thank people and to give people a political CWO. I am asking the question, where is the Dominica Labour Party getting these kind of monies? And so the same way Charles Savre said then, we, meaning the Dominica Freedom Party people, knew fully well that the treasury was being used for political campaigning. I am saying so today on the strength of Charles Savre's words then. We know fully well today as well that our treasury is being not just used, as Charles Savre said, it is being plundered, I am saying now, for political campaigning, as is to come tomorrow in St. Thomas. And so if Charles Savre had issues with the Dominica Labour Party then, about he knowing the treasury was being abused and used by the Labour Party then, Charles Angelo Savre, who sat as president of this country, after, I am saying, he sold over 30 pieces of silver, the price, the Dominica Freedom Party to Labour. He, Charles Angelo Savre, today, should be much more concerned about our treasury now being used as a political war chest for the Dominica Labour Party, or what passes for the Dominica Labour Party. Folks, words are important. And there's saying that goes, history always repeats itself. And so I'm asking, are we now experiencing a rendezvous moment in Dominica? Are we now experiencing a rendezvous moment in Dominica? Where Charles Savre said then, and I quote, as we close, we knew fully well that the treasury was being used for political campaigning. I wonder, I really wonder, what is Brother Charles Savre's take today as it pertains to the treasury, the same treasury, under this present Labour Party. Dominicans, friends, fans, foes, there's much more in the tank to talk about. As a matter of fact, I have another piece of archive, but I think we will leave that for next week in the interest of time, because it's already 7 o'clock. And if you know me, I'm a stickler for time. I stick with time. All right, so folks, that is it in terms of the program content this evening. I sorry I cannot make it the other hour, but duty calls. And when duty calls, other duty calls that is, I have to go. All right? So thank you for your eyes and ears each time. Tomorrow on the Civic Vibes program, though, before I go, we'll be having for the first segment of this program, Sister Marceline Edwards. She will be coming to have a discussion with us as to some expo that is happening, and so Dominicans are participating in that expo in one shape or form. And so Marceline Edwards is a key figure in that expo business, where Dominicans should be the beneficiaries of that expo. A good thing for Dominica. And Marceline will be having that discussion and first to tell us much more as to that expo. The second leg of the program, we'll be having a brother by the name of Brother Davidson Timothy from the Mount Prosper area. Among other hats that he wears, he wears a number of hats. But the hat that we really want to pull out tomorrow from him is the agriculture/farming hat. He's a hard worker in the soil. His hands basically are always dirty. And so we're going to have that very interesting agricultural / farmer based conversation with him tomorrow, because we at Civic Vibes, we really and truly believe that agriculture, you hear it, agri and culture, and it's supposed to be part of our culture. Whatever we grow in. Lionel Latham, I see you show up there. Thank you very much. You're a hard worker. Your hands always in the soil as well. That conversation will be very interesting to you tomorrow as well. Please be in tune. So yes, agriculture, we think it is the, if you have an old vehicle, you need to jog start it. Agriculture is that jog start that vehicle called Dominica needs. And so we're going to have that conversation with this brother tomorrow, talking to us from experience, from grassroots level up, so that the ordinary man and woman can understand the whole dynamics in agriculture. Some people believe agriculture is just fig and dashing. No. Agriculture can take on a whole ton of stuff in there. All right? Petra, Carbon Judge, my friend, good evening to you. Petra is always, looking out for Dominica in terms of getting produce from Dominica to her neck of the wood. Petra, you're doing a very good job. Keep it up. So yes, Petra, that conversation will be very interesting to you as well. So we'll be having Brother Davidson Timothy tomorrow with us. This guy, I can tell you, whenever he speaks, he grabs your attention. So you're in treat for a very good conversation with him tomorrow. So that will make the conversation Marcelin's part, Radio Expo, and also Brother Davidson Timothy's contribution tomorrow, agriculture. Why we chose agriculture tomorrow? Because this big summit is coming up, and we want to play our part. As a matter of fact, we have been playing our part in helping push that summit. And as you heard Dr. Thompson Fontaine said, agriculture is placed high on that summit in terms of helping us see the benefits that can be derived from this good old sector called agriculture. Agriculture had us right up there before people. And trust me, it can still have us right up there. We just have to be ready to put our hands to the plow, as it were, and get it done. All right? So that is it for me for tonight's conversation. Thank you very much, Dominicans from here and abroad. I wish you guys a pleasant good night, whatever is left of your night. I'm going to just punch one song into your hearing, and once that song is done, then yours truly will be out of here. All right? Thank you very, very much indeed.